champions, and welcome back. Today is Monday, May 18th, 2020. Today we are starting in our last and final chapter of math for the whole school year. We have 3 lessons for chapter 9, which is covering tables and line graphs, how we interpret data as presented in the form of a visual representation. So let's get into the first of 3 lessons for this week. Making and interpreting a table. So tables and line graphs, they give us a lot of quick information that we can see visually. So here on this intro page, it's pointing out that over here we have a table that tells us how many muffins in this bakery are left of each type. We can easily tell there's 8 strawberry, 4 blueberry, 5 chocolate, 2 banana, and 4 apple walnut. I don't even have to look at the display case because it's all posted there. We use tables such as this and graphs to help easily convey information. So before we get too far into today's lesson, quick refresher of things we've already covered either this year or back in 3rd grade to help refresh our minds thinking about understanding tables. So first off is understanding a number line. We've covered this several times throughout the year, and for number 1, we're counting up 5,000, 5,500, 6,000. Well, that's telling me that it's adding up by 500 each time. So the next number in the sequence would be 6,500, 7,000, 7,500, 8,000. And that just fills in the blanks based off of the data we already know. Okay, finding parts of a whole. Sometimes we might have data selections that tell us the number of apples and the number of oranges, and we need to find the total number. Whenever we see the word total, we add. So 26 plus 19 would give us a total of 45. Just a quick refresher. It's okay. All right. Sometimes they give us our total and a part, and we need to subtract. Total minus part gives us that other part. 45 minus 19 would give us 26. So if we apply that, for this it says number of vehicles in a parking lot, 32 and 15, and I need a total. So I add 32 plus 15, which gives me 47 vehicles total. Number of people in a school, 1,342 with 63 teachers, so I know my total. And a part, I need to figure out the other part, so I'm going to subtract. So I'm going to do 13,042 minus 63. I'm going to do some quick regrouping in here. 12 minus 3. 13 minus 6 is 7. There's 1,279 students in the school. All right. Sometimes we're presented data with a picture graph, such as the number of toy cars students have. If each car is 3 toy cars, I can tell that Kyle has 12 and Megan has 12. 4 times 3 is 12. Charles only has 3, Elijah has 6, and Grace has 6. Okay? This is quick and easy information for us to understand. With our favorite fruit, strawberry is clearly the favorite with 20 scholars favoring strawberry. Peach has multiple of 4, so 12, 8, 8, 4 times 4, that's 16. So we can easily tell who has what favorite fruit just by looking at this picture graph, counting up the number of smiley faces, and multiplying it by the multiplier down at the bottom. So, based off of this last graph, which fruit was the most popular? The most popular was clearly strawberry. It had 20 votes. We might have questions like how many students chose grapes as their favorite fruit. So if I go back here, I have 8. I had 2 groups of 4, so 2 times 4 is 8. How many more students prefer peaches to melons? This is comparison, so I'll be subtracting. Peaches I have 12, melons I have 8. There's 4 more students that like peaches compared to melons. So that's a 4. How many students were in the group? That's asking us to add up the total of all the groups we have here. So that's 16, 8, 20, 12, and 8. Combine here. 16 plus 8, it's 24. So 40 plus 24, 64. Okay, so 64 total participants. All this information that I needed to do my math was presented there in the picture graph. I just needed to understand how to read my question and what I was looking for, okay? Other ways we can present data is in a bar graph. So this bar graph is telling the number of visitors at an art show Monday through Friday. Friday is clearly the most, with Thursday being the least. So I can quickly see that Thursday has 10, Friday has 60. And it's gonna ask me some questions based off of that. So this is another bar graph talking about the fundraising tickets sold by volunteers. So who sold the greatest number of tickets? Who has the tallest bar? Well, clearly it's Juan over here with 30. So Juan sold the most. The least, the smallest bar graph I have here would be Camilla. How many fewer tickets did Eric sell than Juan? So I need Eric's total, which is 12, compared to Juan's 30. 30 minus 12 would be 18. Fewer than tells me that I need to subtract. Which 2 volunteers sold a difference of 1 ticket? So between them, there's only 1. Well, that would be Cole and Ariana, who are really close down there. Cole and Ariana. And then lastly, how many tickets did the 5 volunteers sell altogether? Well, I'll find their totals. I have 12, 26, 10, 27, 30. And I add all of those up together to get my grand total. So that's 15, 10, 20, 40, 50, 70, 100. They sold 105 tickets altogether. Just practicing real quick addition in my head. If it takes you a little bit longer, that's fine. All right, so this gets us into today's actual chapter, making it and interpreting a table. So our 2 objectives for today, we're going to make a table from data that is collected, and we're going to interpret data in a given table. Okay, so normally if we were in the class, I'd go and have you survey all of your friends, ask questions, come up with a bunch of information on your own. Unfortunately, we're limited in capacity on that. So as we get into this lesson, we're more focused on interpreting the data, but hopefully you can make your own data as you go through this. So for our Learn section, Mr. Cook recorded the favorite subjects in sports of several students. We have 8 students represented here with their favorite subject and their favorite sport. Some have English and football, some like math and football, and so forth. And he's gathered pictures to just kind of make it easier for him. And then he breaks it down into these 2 tables. These tables have a column of favorite subject, a tally, so just mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to count up how many people voted for that as their favorite. And then he turns that tally into a final number. So English had 2 people, 2 scholars, 2 tally marks, 2 students who wanted math or English as their favorite subject. Math had 5 tally marks And that fifth tally mark is just that upstroke. So 5 students liked math and 1 student liked science at the end of it. Comparing their sports trends, football had 3, baseball had 4, and basketball had 1. Instead of doing columns, he has rows across for the same kind of categories. Then he breaks down his scholars in this table into a bar graph where we can easily tell that baseball has the most amount of fans in his group. Okay? So let's put this into practice. For this, we're going to read through the question. We're going to convert the tallies into a number for the number of students, and then we're going to answer these questions. Let me read the question out loud, then you'll pause the video and give it a shot. At a class picnic, students brought different kinds of food. Each student brought 1 food item. The table shows the number of food items that the students brought. Take a moment now to turn those tallies into numbers, read through questions A through D, and give that a shot. All right, so you've had a chance to pause the video, work through this, and let's go through this problem now. Mini pies, I have 5. Sandwiches, 8. Salad, 3. And others, 6. How many students brought mini pies? Well, there are 5 mini pies brought in. Which food item did most students bring? Well, 8 is the biggest, so that is sandwiches. C, how many more students brought sandwiches than salad? Well, now I'm doing a comparison of 8 sandwiches to 3 salads. There are 5 student difference between them. 8 minus 3 is 5. How many students were at the picnic? Now I need to add up my total. And I just add by combining like things that I know get me close to what I need. I know 4 and 6 is 10, 8 and 3 is 11. Now I add it all up and I get 26 total students at the picnic. Okay. All right. One more practice problem for us. Reading and interpreting this table. We don't need to convert tally marks into our numbers. The numbers are provided, but we will need to answer the question. So I'll read the question, give you a chance to pause the video and work through it. So let's see. Number 2, the table shows the pieces of fruit Miss Watson bought for a party. Apples, oranges, peach, apricot. So take a few moments to answer questions A through E, and we'll go over them momentarily. All right, so in interpreting this table, here on page 320 in our math workbook, how many oranges did Miss Watson buy? So for that, I go to the row with oranges, and she bought 20. B, which type of fruit did Miss Watson buy the least of? So the smallest number, or the least number I see here is peaches with 5, so I can write a peach in there. C, how many more apricots than peaches did Miss Watson buy? So I'm going to compare my apricots with peaches. That's 8 and 5. 8 minus 5 is 3. So she bought 3 more apricots than peaches. D, how many pieces of fruit did Miss Watson buy all together? All together means I need a total. So if I add up 20, 10, 8, and 5, let's see, that's going to be 13. 10, 30, 40. She bought 43 pieces of fruit altogether. E. How many more apricots must Miss Watson buy if she wants to have the same number of apricots as oranges? I know I changed up how I pronounced apricot, tomato, tomato. So, how many more apricots does she need to buy to have the same number as oranges? Well, she bought 8, and oranges is 20. 20 minus 8 gives me 12. She'll need 12 more apricots to have the same amount as her oranges. All right, with that being said, that's the end of today's lesson. Your assignment pages for today, you have page 321 and 322 in your Math and Focus 4B workbook, which you have to interpret 2 different tables and answer 8 questions. 8 questions should be simple enough. I know these are word problems, but the space provided is not enough to give me a full, complete sentence. So just give me a good number and maybe a clarifying, what are we measuring? Are we measuring apples, oranges? What are we measuring? So thank you for tuning in. Hopefully this was helpful. Stay awesome. Talk to you later.